Self-Advocacy, Part 5. What is one thing you would like young adults to know about becoming a self-advocate?
Know that it takes time. It's not going to happen overnight, especially if your diagnosis is newer or it's like getting progressively worse or things like that. You don't have to be gun ho advocacy all the time. That is why it's important for you to have people in your community, family, friends, other disabled people to help lift you up through that and encourage you and teach you and know that it's okay to fail at it sometimes. There are some days where I'm like, oh, I really don't feel like being an advocate for myself today. But I know at the end of the day, it's going to pay off. Advocacy is hard. It's going to put you in some uncomfortable situations. It's going to make certain conversations with friends, with family, uncomfortable, flat out. You're going to have to juggle a lot of things. But at the end of the day, if you don't advocate for yourself, how do you expect anyone to know what you need? No one can read your mind. No one knows what you need. No one knows how you're feeling deep in your soul. And so it's okay to reach out for help. It's okay to say, I'm not okay. I need someone to support me through this. Um, and then from there, once you gain the support that you need, especially if you aren't raised in like a family where they're supportive, once you get that support, then you're able to advocate for yourself. It's all like these little stepping blocks.
It's all right to ask for help. There's resources out there to help you to become more independent. There's people out there who can help you find a job, and just keep on. You might get rejections, but just keep on applying yourself to different activities like school or job.
I would like to see myself be more patient. So that would be one. The second thing would be take some time out of your daily life to de-stress is what I'll say.
The only person who knows you better than most is yourself. And also to know what you want. It's okay to ask for help. And in terms of knowing your own healthcare, just know your bodies internally and externally. And do not be ashamed to address those concerns with medical experts. I know it's scary. I know from experience, but they're there to help you.
If you don't advocate for yourself, like no one's going to advocate for you. So sometimes you have to get out of your comfort zone and like ask for help.
Don't go too far. It's kind of a weird balance. Like, yes, being independent is really great. There are a lot of times where I wish I would have asked for help when I didn't, and it could have been useful. Realize that your parent is there to help, but you don't have to rely on them for necessarily everything. Like, I ask my mom insurance questions all the time. She used to do HR, so I got really lucky in that sense, but she doesn't know the answer to everything. So there's a lot of times where she's had to encourage me to call certain people, or she gives me advice on like who to call. So yes, even though like your mom may call you and be like, hey, did you do this? And it might be seen as nagging, like they're really just trying to help. So it's okay to take help if you need it.
One, understand your disability and how it affects you, right? Like understand, like I have CP and like this is what it does to me and this is how it affects me. And, these are my symptoms. Like I have spasticity. I have processing challenges. Like understand your disability, all the ins and outs of your disability. Also understand your strengths and weaknesses. Like I'm very much an auditory learner, and like I need to talk through it with my doctor in order to understand. So I'm asking lots of questions when I'm in the doctor's office. I'm trying to do that. So I understand what that strength, like that's a strength for me. I understand I'm an auditory learner, so I try to put myself in the situation where I'm being an auditory learner. But I also understand like what my weaknesses are from like a standpoint of like, okay, I have to remember all my medications. Probably not going to be able to do that. So that's why like I make a note in my phone and I put my medications in my phone and I put I put the things I'm allergic to in my phone because they asked me, are you allergic to anything? And there's like a handful of things that I'm allergic to. So rather than like trying to remember everything, I use assistive technology to help level the playing field.
You're not alone. Stop comparing yourself to so-called healthy people, able-bodied people, because that's not you. It doesn't make you any less of a person just because you aren't. It's just different, you know? And I think that's like, it may be a different way of life, but it doesn't mean it's bad. I think a lot of it is like taking control of the things you can, but also just releasing the things that you can't control, taking time for rest. And I think taking it one day at a time and just celebrating those little things that you can do, and the doctors that do listen to you and things like that, and just taking that as it comes rather than having these grand expectations that one day you're going to wake up and you're going to be able to do everything, and then it's not going to happen, then you'll just be disappointed.
I promise that you will be glad in the end that you did the work to become independent, whether that means taking charge of your own health care, whether that's learning how to pay bills, whether that's moving out and getting your own apartment. It could be a lot of different things, and it's different things to different people, right? Independence. It doesn't have to look the same to every person. But whatever those steps are for you, I promise that you will be glad you did them in the end. But being independent is really awesome, and it can be really fun, and it has a lot of benefits, and it also comes with those hard parts, but the benefits are totally worth it. You have to find what you're capable of. Don't underestimate yourself, and don't just be like, oh, it's too hard, I'm not going to do it. But also, it's okay to have help, right? Independence doesn't mean never having help from other people. Independence means knowing when you need help and asking for it, but also keeping yourself accountable and not just handing things off to other people because they're too hard. You have to know when to ask for help and when you need it, but you also have to know what you can and can't do and be honest about that and take care of the hard things that you can take care of on your own. I would say find a person with a disability who's older than you, someone with a disability who has done adulting for a decent while, and talk to them and say, like, how did you deal with this? I went to a program at the University of Washington called Do It for the first time when I was a junior in high school. And I met people with all different kinds of disabilities. And that was a big deal because your parents, they may love you, they may help you, but they will never be able to give you the advice that another person with a disability will be able to give you, whether it's your same disability or not. People with disabilities all have similar experiences. It may be a little different from disability to disability, but we all have similar experiences. So find someone older than you and wiser than you, and use their knowledge, and that will, I think, really help you to get started.
I would say definitely find your voice and don't be afraid to speak up because they will listen to you, and you know your body more than anybody. So just get that confidence that you're in control of your health.
After you start advocating for yourself the first time, it gets a lot easier.
I would suggest try to take charge of your autonomy and not have people step all over you, because that's not cool. I just don't want people to feel like that, like just because like a doctor isn't like paying attention to them, that means like all doctors are bad. But there will be bad people in the medical field no matter what. You're just gonna have to like know your instincts and know who to trust. Just be careful.
I want everyone to learn and research and share about their disability. Don't try to cover it up in terms of medical files. But also, let people know you're a person first who happens to have a disability.
Like, take it as slow or as fast as you want, because the medical community, once you turn 18, they're like, okay, if you don't want mom, dad, grandma, guardian, whoever, if you don't want them in that room, then they have to listen to you. My family has always been very open. If I don't want them in the room, they don't have to be there. Some people may not be like that, but at the end of the day, it's your decision, and the doctor's more inclined to listen to you rather than mom or dad or whoever is with you. So you make all the decisions. If you want to jump into it and be like, okay, I'm doing this alone and whatever, or if you have a topic that you necessarily want to discuss without people in the room, then take your chance to kick them out and talk to your own healthcare professional.
If you want to be more independent, make that known. Find the resources you need and build that support group that you need. Build that support system and figure out what you can do and what you need help with, and what the resources available in that support system that you build to find a way to be independent or find a way to be interdependent with other people.